You just killed a man in front of 60,000 people, and the crowd is screaming your name. Your arm is shaking, not from fear, not anymore, just from doing this again. Somewhere up in the editor's box, a man in a white toga is smiling, not at you, at what the crowd's reaction to you is worth. There's a small wooden sword in that man's office. You've been thinking about it for 3 years. Today is not the day you get it. Level 1, the nobody. You didn't choose this, nobody does. You arrived at the ludus in chains, or in debt, or both, and the gate closed behind you with the kind of finality that makes a man stop making plans. A trainer walked the line without saying a word, looking at hands, shoulders, eyes. He stopped in front of you, looked you up and down, and moved on. That was the only good thing that happened that day. The ludus is a school, a prison, and a business inside the same walls. Most men here are slaves or prisoners of war. A rare few walked in willingly, free men who sold themselves for a signing fee. You are not one of those men. You didn't come here for glory. You came here because the alternative was worse. You don't want to be a gladiator. You just don't want to starve anymore. Level 2, the Tirones. Every morning before dawn you hit a wooden post, eat a bowl of barley, sleep, and do it again. And that, for a very long time, is your entire life. The diet is deliberate. Barley and legumes build fat layered over muscle, cushioning over bone. And the trainers call it armor you grow yourself, which would sound poetic if the food didn't taste like wet clay. The man training you has fought 37 bouts. One morning he pulls down his collar and shows you a scar running from his ear to his collarbone. Then he says, "The man who gave me that one is dead." Not as a threat, not as a comfort, just as a fact. The post doesn't bleed. The man in the arena will. Level 3, the first bout. They don't tell you when it's coming. One morning a guard points at you and says tomorrow, and that's your preparation. That night you lie in the dark barracks, listening to 40 men breathe, and somewhere in the early hours you stop trying to sleep and just start waiting. The tunnel on fight day is cold, and the noise above you is something no one could have prepared you for. 60,000 people, not cheering yet, just present, a pressure in the air that pushes down on your chest. Then the gate opens, and the light hits you so hard you go blind for 3 full seconds. You're matched against another novice, someone just as terrified, and you win in a way you don't fully remember afterward. The crowd has already moved on before you've left the sand. You are not a gladiator yet. You're just a man who didn't die today, and surviving your first fight doesn't make you famous, it just makes you available for the next one. Level 4, the reputation. 12 fights in, you see your name painted on a wall. Your fighting style, your win count, laid out for anyone walking past to read. In Pompeii, archaeologists would later find graffiti that reads, "Salatus the Thracian, thrice victor, makes the girls swoon." Yours says something similar, with more wins and less poetry. A woman pushes through a market crowd just to touch your arm. Men step aside when you walk past. Your fighting style was assigned on arrival. Murmillo, Thrax, Rotirius, slotted to fit your build and reach. Nothing you chose, nothing you asked for. But somewhere along the way you stopped fighting the weapons and started fighting with them, and the crowd noticed before you did. The lanista watches the crowd watching you, and he smiles. Not warmly, but like a man watching an investment appreciate. Your name on that wall means one thing to you. It means something completely different to the man who owns you. Level 5. The wooden sword. Every man in the ludus knows what the rudis is, a small wooden sword awarded by the editor to a fighter who has served long enough, bled enough, earned enough. It means freedom, and you have been counting toward it since the day you arrived. Today, after your bout, the editor stands and the crowd goes quiet. He holds the rudis up, looks at you, then looks at the crowd, and the crowd starts chanting your name. He smiles, raises it higher, and hands it to a fighter 3 places down from you. Not today. The crowd wants one more fight from you first. There are always more games. You stand in the sand and feel something go hollow in your chest. Not anger, something quieter and more permanent. The rudis is not a reward for performance. It's a political decision. And right now you are worth more fighting than free. You've held that wooden sword in your mind for 3 years, and today you learned it was never really yours to take. Level 6. The Primus Palace. You have your own cell now, a real bed, a window, meat every night. And the newer fighters look at you with that mixture of admiration and dread you now recognize as the face of men who need to believe survival is possible if they're good enough. You are the Primus Palace, first sword, top fighter in the school. The lanista negotiates your bouts personally, controls your opponents, has made your survival his financial priority in a way that would feel like care if it weren't so obviously about money. You haven't walked outside these walls without armed escort in 4 years. The comfort is real, and that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Freedom requires urgency, and the men still sleeping in the shared barracks are counting days. You stopped counting. They don't need chains anymore. They gave you something better, a reason to stay. Level 7, the politics of your life. A guard comes to your cell and tells you the news. Closing bout of the Emperor's Victory Games, 40,000 tickets, the most powerful men in Rome in the front rows. You are not honored, you are scheduled. The games are political machinery. Emperors use them to keep the public calm, sponsors use them to build reputations, and a popular fighter at a major bout can make a political career in a single afternoon. Emperor Commodus fought in the arena himself, winning every time against opponents with blunted weapons, calling himself Hercules while the crowd cheered, because the crowd always understood the game, even when they pretended not to. You are not a warrior in their eyes, you are a prop. Somewhere out there, a man is advancing his career because of what you are about to do with your body, and he will never once think about you after the game's end. Level 8, the offer. The lanista sits across from you and places the rudis on the table, yours, official, stamped, legal, then sets a contract beside it, 1 year, 6 fights, and a number at the bottom that takes you several seconds to process, more than your father earned in his entire life. He says you can walk out that door right now, and he means it. And you are genuinely free for the first time in 7 years. He doesn't say the next part. He doesn't need to. You've been inside these walls for 7 years. No trade, no family waiting, no idea how to exist in a world not built around morning training and afternoon blood. You look at the door, you look at the contract. The door is open, your hand is on the contract. And the worst part, the part that will follow you for whatever time you have left, is that you already know which one you're going to pick. Level 9, the last fight that isn't. This was supposed to be your last one. You told yourself that before the previous one too, and at some point you stopped keeping track of how many times you'd told yourself that particular lie. The gladiator Flamma was awarded the rudis 4 separate times and handed it back every single time. He died in the arena at around 30 years old, after 34 fights, 21 wins, 9 draws, 4 losses. His tombstone was found in Sicily. At least someone cared enough to mark where he ended up. You stand in the tunnel and know every sound this place makes. The roar that means blood, the quieter sound that means mercy. The crowd chants your name before you even step out. You stop being afraid somewhere around fight 19, and what replaced it is harder to name. A mastery with nowhere left to go. A resignation so complete it loops back around into something that almost feels like peace. The gate opens. The light hits you. You don't go blind anymore. You walk out and 60,000 people scream your name. People who will forget you the moment someone younger comes along. The wooden sword is back in the lanista's office. The contract will be on the table again after this fight, and you'll sign it again because you always do and you stopped pretending otherwise a long time ago. In the cells beneath the stands, a new intake arrived this morning. A guard walked the line, looked at hands, shoulders, eyes, and stopped in front of one of them. That young man has no idea what it means to be chosen. He will,